The International Monetary Fund, IMF, commonly called the World Bank, confirmed that the US dollar is in jeopardy against BRICS nations and other local currencies. The IMF took into consideration the de-dollarization agenda initiated by BRICS to uproot the US dollar from the world's reserve currency status. The threat from BRICS and other local currencies against the US dollar is real and should be taken seriously, acknowledged IMF. Watch to the end to know how many sectors in the US will be affected if BRICS ditches the dollar for trade. IMF acknowledges threats from BRICS and local currencies. The Deputy Managing Director of IMF, Cathie Wood, acknowledged in her paper titled Impact of Geopolitics on International Trade and the Dollar, stating that BRICS is creating a shift in global economic policies. The IMF MD revealed that BRICS nations are now conducting business based on their geopolitical alliances with other countries. The development puts the US dollar on the back foot as local currencies will be used to settle cross-border transactions. Countries, BRICS, are reassessing their trading partners based on their economic and security concerns, said IMF Gopinath. Foreign investment flows are also being redirected according to geopolitical alliances. Some countries are reevaluating their heavy dependence on the dollar in their international transactions and reserves, she said. However, she said that despite the risk, the US dollar remains the de facto currency for global trade and commerce, probably because a large part of commodity trade continues to be invoiced and settled in US dollars, she said. However, if BRICS captures the oil sector and settles trade in local currencies, the US dollar could decline. The majority of new countries that joined BRICS this year are oil-producing and exporting nations. The alliance is waiting for Saudi Arabia to join the bloc and change the dynamics in the global oil sector. 3 U.S. sectors to be affected if BRICS ditches the dollar. The BRICS alliance is aiming to uproot the U.S. dollar's global supremacy by promoting local currencies for trade settlements. BRICS wants to strengthen their native economies by cutting ties with the US dollar for cross-border transactions. The bloc is on a world tour convincing developing countries to use local currencies for trade and not the US dollar. The development will affect several financial sectors in the US, leading to a market decline in the coming years. If BRICS ditches the dollar for trade, the USD currency will return to the homeland, leading to hyperinflation in America. 3 U.S. sectors stand to be directly affected if BRICS dumps the dollar for trade. A total of 3 financial sectors in the U.S. will take a direct hit if BRICS ditches the dollar for cross-border payments. The sectors that could begin to decline include banking, foreign exchange, tourism, and consumer goods and production. Below are the 3 financial sectors that will be impacted if the U.S. dollar is not used for settlements anymore. Banking and finance. Technology and fintech, consumer goods and retail. First and foremost, the banking and financial sector will be the hardest hit as foreign exchanges will begin to decline. The forex markets run on supply and demand, and if the demand for the USD dips, the US central bank will find it harder to import the dollar. If the central banks of BRICS countries don't accumulate the dollar, the US will see its currency returning home. Moreover, the US has been importing its inflation to other nations for years, and a return of the currency will lead to hyperinflation in the homeland. Secondly, the technology sector will take a hit as inflation in the US leads to job losses. Additionally, multinational corporations have to shell out more money to keep businesses afloat and stay at the top without sinking. BRICS can bring down the US economy if they stop accepting the dollar for payments.